Hey everyone, Michael Anthony here. Van Halen, Chickenfoot, Sammy in the Circle. But anyway, you're listening to the only podcast that is dedicated to breaking down the entire Van Halen catalog one track at a time. And the podcast will rock. Ow!
Hello, baby!
Welcome, all you rockers, rockettes, and everything in between to a new edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. Welcome back to the show, all you lovely people. If it's your first time here, how did you stumble across this? I want to know. But even so, thank you for joining us. And let me tell you what we do. We are the show that dives into the catalog and discography of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, Van Halen. And we do it one track at a time. I am your co-host, Mark Kamier. With me, as always, Corey Morissette. Corey, it is awfully quiet in this room, is it not?
It is, so I thought I'd play a little music. I've been listening to nothing but Christmas music for 2 straight weeks, and I've just been looking forward to tonight. Yeah, because in my day job, I'm editing Christmas concerts, Christmas parades, all that kind of stuff, nonstop Christmas music. I need a little Van Halen tonight. I know we've already covered this song, but I wanted to hear just a little bit of it here before we get rolling, if you'll indulge me.
Oh, sure.
And nothing gets me down.
Yes, this is the David Lee Roth new version of Jump live at Henson Studios. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, wow.
Killing it, I'm telling you. Are you wondering why people aren't excited for David to jump on stage with Sammy, Joe Satriani, Michael Anthony, and Jason Bottom?
Oh, I don't wonder. Well, if you needed further proof as to, I mean, you know what that sounded like to me? That sounded like any everyday average Joe schmuck who decided, I'm going to do a karaoke recording of my favorite Van Halen song, Jump, because I think I can hit the notes, and I can pretend to be David Lee Roth for a little bit. That's what this sounded like. This sounded like somebody else doing a bad cover, and if it was anybody else, we could let it go and just be like, well, hey man, you know, we're all doing our best out there, you know, but good for you for being so bold as to record your karaoke track. But no, that was David Lee Roth himself. That is, ooh, that's bad. That is just, it's bad and it sucks. There it is. I'm gonna say it. So to all of you diehard David Lee Roth people out there, and I know you're still out there because you have been going out of your way to absolutely downvote every single Sammy song that we cover here, strictly, I think, specifically because it is not David Lee Roth. We play this song, we play this track, a recently re-recorded Jump, and I ask you this: do you feel good about that decision? Do you feel good about it? Is this what you wanted? Is this what we asked for? I didn't ask for this. Corey, did you ask for this? I didn't.
No, I don't think anybody did. But you know, he's Van Halen's in the news, and it's not him. So he's got to put a song out there, right? I mean, that's just
that is true. Yeah, he is like, say what we have said many things about the man, but one thing we can credit him for. He knows what to do to keep himself relevant, even if it's not, in my opinion, the right move. He's making moves. And so, yeah, with Van Halen in the news, with all this stuff going on with Sammy and Mikey, you know, getting together with this newly formed little quadruple. Yeah, he's got to make himself seem relevant so that people don't forget about him. I get it. It's fine. Speaking of relevancy, this is kind of a side shift, but you brought something to my attention. It was something that I kind of just overlooked earlier in the week, but you brought it to my attention, and it must be worth talking about. And I'm talking about a band not called Van Halen, But related somewhat, a little bit of Van Halen, we're talking about Kiss. Corey, what's going on with Kiss right now? Please tell the people.
Yes, we will get to the Van Halen news a little bit later, but Kiss is making news.
We have to talk about
week.
this.
Yeah. So I saw Kiss a couple of weeks ago. Fantastic show. And then Paul Stanley got really sick. Almost died, according to him. They had to cancel 3 shows, but they held their final show, Madison Square Garden, on Saturday night on pay-per-view. I'm a sucker. I ordered it. I figured I'm home alone on a Saturday. Everybody else is gone. I'm going to watch Kiss. And, Gene Simmons was performing with a kidney stone, which how he even did that, I have no idea. He said, like, halfway through, like during the drum solo, he went to take a piss, and he got the stone, like, right to the end, but it wouldn't come out. So he did the whole show. I know, right? Like, just, it's so excruciating, you can't even think about. But he performed really, really well. Paul didn't sound so great, but he is coming off, almost dying and all. But they were teasing this big announcement. At the end of the show, there's going to be a big announcement about the future of Kiss. I thought I had this down pat. I thought this is what they're going to do. They're going to do a reality show, a la Rockstar in Excess, where they're going to audition a bunch of people. Mark Kamara, I'm sure, would audition to replace the band members of Kiss, put on the face paint, be the Spaceman, the Star Child, the Demon, and the Catman, and just keep going on the road. And Gene and Paul can sit at home and just collect checks while this younger group goes out.
I would absolutely do that audition.
Who wouldn't?
I wouldn't get the gig. I guarantee it, because I just I don't think my voice fits that particular style for Kiss. I love Kiss, but I would unabashedly audition for it.
I could see you playing lead guitar and singing "Shock Me" though, like taking the Ace Frehley role. I could see you doing that. Oh
man, I could do "Shock Me."
I know, right? Anyways, they decided not to go that route. Instead, They contracted Industrial Light and Magic to create digital avatars of themselves, a la what ABBA did last year. And they're going to tour these avatars around. So here I brought it up so everybody at home can see that. That's a shot of the avatars. There's the Tommy Thayer, not even Ace Frehley, it's Tommy Thayer, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and Eric Singer as their digital avatars. So you're going to hear really old men still performing songs that they recorded in a motion capture booth, wearing motion capture suits, and you're going to see animated Kiss members on screen, presumably in a concert setting. To which
kind of like the band Gorillaz, because they're they're animated, and when you go see them live, they're all kind of like they're up on a screen, or like they're 3-dimensional, like a la hologram. Okay, something like that. Yeah,
something like that. So the question everyone's been asking is, who would pay to watch this? Like,
look, we don't want to ask those questions because
Kiss fans,
I guarantee you, Kiss fans, like the hardcore Kiss fans. Look, people went in droves to the movie theater to watch a Taylor Swift concert and to watch a Beyonce show. Like, there's a Beyonce concert in the theaters right now, and it's doing stupidly well. As a matter of fact, it's I'm pretty sure the box office on that concert has surpassed 5 times what the latest Marvel movie did. So if that tells you anything, the diehard fans will absolutely pay for this.
Scott asking already if Corey is free on Saturday night, he has time to start another podcast. You're damn right I do. I actually
he's taking over the airwaves. I told you guys. You were warned.
I record a little thing for Pot of Thunder. They've been inviting their listeners to record a little snippet to help them celebrate their 10-year anniversary. So I recorded one kind of on behalf of me and Mark, and I may have pitched 2 new podcasts in that message. Well, I don't want to ruin the surprise. If they if they don't play the message, I'll let everybody here know. But if they do, I think they're gold. But we won't talk.
So
about
tune into Pot of Thunder for that. But
that's right.
Corey, how do you feel about this? They look like they went to ILM.
Yeah.
ILM, just to put that into perspective for you guys, in case you didn't know, ILM are the special effects people that are responsible for Star Wars, among many, many other things. Industrial Light and Magic is huge. And these avatars look like Mortal Kombat characters.
They really do. And we saw them in motion after the concert. They did a little, because after every Kiss show, of course, after the encore, they play God Gave Rock and Roll to You, and that's just over the speakers. The band's not playing it, but they play over the speakers when you're leaving. But instead, they actually animated the Kiss avatars performing that, and it was just god awful. And I'm like, why? I would go pay to see musicians play Kiss music. I wouldn't pay as much as I paid to see actual Kiss, but I would.
I don't understand.
But
I don't get it.
So if they wanted to do like an animated movie that featured Kiss music that was playing in theaters, and I paid like $12 to go see it, and it had a story around it, that I could see. But I'm not paying $100 to go sit in a hockey rink to watch an empty stage and the Kiss avatars performing with Paul Stanley's 76-year-old voice and whatnot. Like, no, I can't believe the ABBA one was as popular as it was.
I can't believe that either, but that's, my whole feeling on like ABBA or ABBA, however you pronounce it. I don't get it, but people love them.
In fairness, ABBA was
that move.
They did go away for quite a few decades, right?
That's true. They did. Yeah. Kiss, on the other hand, won't.
As soon as the concert's done, they introduce this, right? Like not even 5 minutes later.
I don't understand. Like, the gimmick was already there. All you had to do was just dress up some musicians, some younger guys, to just carry on the shows. I don't understand. I mean,
Easy.
Look, we cannot underestimate the egos of these guys. I mean, we talked not that long ago about, or somebody was really had their ass real chafed about Sammy Hagar's one of his songs. I think it was "Can't Stop Loving You," and it went on about how like, oh, it's just servicing his own ego, and I hate this song. And I was like, okay, all right, you make it sound like no rock star ever has had an ego. Like, no, right. Only Sammy Hagar is like, his ego is unparalleled. Well, you might believe that, but then I would show you Exhibit A, which is this Kiss. I mean, I really don't understand the logic behind this. Yeah, it does. I did happen to see a little bit of the movements. I had the video on mute because I didn't want to hear it. So I did see a little bit of the movement when I saw these things in action, and holy God. I mean, people are going to go see this, and I'm sure it's going to be a grand spectacle because, say what you will about Kiss, I mean, their live shows are a grand spectacle, that's for sure. How it's going to be according to these animated avatars, and I can't. Okay, I have to point this out just because I can't stop looking at it. Do you notice how like Ace Frehley is floating? He's Space Ace, so he's floating towards the stars, but not to be outdone because nobody outdoes him. Gene Simmons, his avatar, is also floating for an inexplicable reason, and you'll notice he's floating higher because how dare you? And I'm sorry, I guess that's technically not Ace, but he's dressed like Ace.
Yeah, it's Tommy.
It's Tommy. Okay. I don't. Whatever. I think. I'm not. Again, like I told you off air, I'm not shocked by this because the capitalistic mind of Gene Simmons and Kiss Co. know no bounds, and hats off to him. He's trying to keep the legacy going for as long as he possibly can until he's finally bit the dust.
Yep.
But I don't understand why this was the move. This is stupid. This is so stupid.
Scott Monroe says this whole scheme is something I could see David Lee Roth doing. And that was going to be my question to you. What if they trotted out like Van Halen avatars? Like Alex doesn't want to play anymore. Eddie's unfortunately gone. David can't sing. What if they trotted out Van Halen avatars with a virtual Eddie and a virtual Alex and everything else, and David when he could sing and did a show? Like, like when it's Kiss, it's easy to say, yeah, fuck, I wouldn't do that. If it was Van Halen, you're almost like, well, geez, I never saw Van Halen live. They're still not live, but you wouldn't do it?
Like, I still wouldn't do it. And like, because that'll be even sillier. Because at least with Kiss, they have the aesthetic of the outfits and the makeup, and they actually look like they could be, these fictional character things. That's their whole ordeal, right? Whereas if you do the same with Van Halen, they're just gonna like dudes that are animated, and it's like, why do I want to see that? No, I wouldn't pay money to see that. Let's put it that way. If someone bootlegs a show on like YouTube or something, yeah, I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna pay money to see that because it would be a lie. It would be like I'm not paying to go see a live Van Halen show because it's not Van Halen. It's literally not Van Halen. Like any way you splice it. So. As far as this Kiss thing goes, it's hubris to another level. I get why they want to stay. Yeah, I get why they want to stay relevant. I don't think this was the move. It should have been. They should have just. I like your idea. Just audition some dudes and like Blue Man Group. You got like Blue Man Group they change drummers so many times, but you never know because they're all behind the blue makeup, and they all have a choreography. They all have to have like certain physical features so that they can look like the crazy blue aliens that they're personifying. But they always change the people out to keep it fresh, to keep it, because some of these, I think the original Blue Man Group guys, whoever they are, I'm pretty sure they're pretty old and they're not wanting to do those shows anymore. That's what you should have done with Kiss. I mean, it would have been so easy. Would it have been obvious that it wasn't the original lineup? Well, sure. But you as the fan know that they can't go on the original lineup because they're knocking on death's door. I hate to say it, but it's true. Like they're old and they can't do it. And you told me they're gonna continuously like the old guys are still gonna play the music, right? Like they've already recorded it.
Yeah, they showed a little making of the band as they are now in a motion capture studio, wearing the gray jumpsuits with the ping pong balls everywhere, recording songs. So it's not even Kiss in their prime live. It's Kiss Now live, which they're still decent. I've certainly seen worse, but I would think Paul would want to be like, Alive and Alive 2 era Paul with the big powerful vocals, not Paul today when he was like croaking and just couldn't get anything out on Saturday because, and in fairness, he's old and he's sick. I get it. Yeah, but I still appreciated that. I don't want to see an avatar of Paul Stanley sounding like shit.
No, you want Phantom of the Opera era like Paul Stanley. You want like strong vocals, Paul Stanley. Or all of them. I mean, I don't understand why this was the move, but I mean, I do understand it, but at the same time, why?
Yep.
But so Tom, there you go. That
Tom had a good question. He said, "When was the last time Kiss was actually relevant?" Well, they kind of made some headlines because they were, the final show and all. I don't know if that counts as relevancy, but they were released in the news.
I mean, they probably the last time they were super, super relevant was when Gene still had the Family Jewels reality show going. I think maybe that might have been the last time. But look, this is much like what you heard from David Lee Roth earlier, re-recording one of his own songs and just doing a.
Do you want me to play it again?
A job of it. Yeah, please don't play it again. I'm just my point is sometimes it's okay to let the old guard go, just let it go.
Let it go, Dave.
Let it go. And believe me, the irony is not lost on me that 70-something-year-old Sammy Hagar is going back on the road, and he's going to play some Van Halen stuff, but at least he can do it. Yeah. At least Rob Halford and the guys in Judas Priest can still do it. They just put out like new material and he sounds great. At least Bruce Dickinson and Iron Maiden can still do it. Bruce isn't sounding great like on the record these days, but he's still going out there and he's playing those live shows, and Maiden is a triumph. So I mean, like at least they can still do it. The guys in Kiss, unfortunately, the ones that are left in there, the prime has long since passed. So, but I guess we'll find out. So you guys, when the avatars hit the road and start doing their little virtual shows and things like that, one of y'all is probably going to have to go, and you're going to have to let us know what that's all about. I don't know when this is going to take place, but when it does, let us know, because I'm not going.
Jeff says Dave could do it as Dave, not Van Halen. He could still play Van Halen songs, but no Eddie Avatar. Yeah, everyone's pretty clear. We don't want to see an Eddie Van Halen avatar or hologram or whatever kind of horseshit AI they want to pump out there. But, I'm
remember the Tupac hologram?
Yeah. Elvis did a hologram, right? Who else? They were talking to Michael Jackson hologram at one point. Enough.
Right, yeah. So, no, we're done. We're done with all
let
that.
sleeping dogs die already.
Indeed. So what is going on in the actual world of Van Halen?
All right. Well, we got a few things. We're going to head over to the Van Halen news desk, www.vhnd.com, where you can find great articles like the Van Halen Holiday Gift Guide. That's right. You can check that out. Get some Van Halen merch for the important people in your life. They have a handy dandy gift guide for you there. Of course, you can get everything on the Van Halen store, which Van Halen news desk helps facilitate. Joe Satriani has said he's aiming to recreate the sound of each era of Van Halen. Like he's nice. Going through, like he wants to recreate the early stuff and the middle stuff and the later stuff. Like he's really going to town on this Van Halen tribute that he wants to do They asked him if he wanted to play Eruption. He said probably not. But songs from different eras, they're going to try and hit them all. He said because I think he's got to do Chickenfoot stuff. He's got to do Satriani stuff. He's got to do Sammy Solo stuff. He's probably got to do some Zeppelin in there too. It's going to be a pretty varied set list. So I don't envy Joe Satriani. The guy's got his work cut out for him. That's for damn sure.
He does, but this is kind of what he does. He is a guitar virtuoso for a reason. He signed up for this because he is enthusiastic and loves the music of Van Halen. And I mean, we all do. That's why we're here. But it just, I don't know, a little enthusiasm, a little excitement goes a very long way, especially when it's a guy like Satriani who has been doing this for a long time, and you think like, well, I bet nothing probably gets him stoked anymore. He's just kind of going through the motions. Maybe is he in a good mood? Sure, because he's getting paid to play guitar all the time, and that's great. But this, he legitimately seems like he's really, really into it, and he's really, really excited. So I think that's going to show in the performances, and I think this is a good thing. So I salute Joe Satriani. I do not envy him whatsoever either. But I salute him, and I know if anyone's going to be able to pull it off, it's going to be him. Yep.
Scott put it out there was Ronnie James Dio hologram at one point. He said ELP. Wow. ELP was going to do holograms. Who's ELP?
ELP?
Yeah. Emerson, Lake and Palmer? Am I right? That's ELP. Probably. Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
I mean, you're not wrong. That is. I'm trying to. Oh my God!
I've had a day. Scott, help us out. Who's ELP? Am I right?
Well, that's who I'm imagining in my brain now. I can't think of anyone else. That's who it is. That's my headcanon now. It's
Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Of Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Josh.
Oh boy.
Josh says I would love to hear Satriani through a non-master volume Marshall amp. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, could be. Well, he's I mean. Isn't he a strictly Marshall guy, or am I making that up?
But if he's going to try and recreate all the different eras, right? He's going to have to go through PV, and then he's going to have to
that's a good point. Fair point. Fair enough. All right. Then if that's the case, then he'll do it.
Yep. Nothing from Haskin. He used to be a Blue Band group. Fun fact, actually. So. Yeah.
Well.
He got kicked out.
Is that why you're bald, Scott?
It is, and he got kicked out because of all the full frontal nudity. But he had a great time in Blue Man Group. Back to the Van Halen news desk real quick. There's a good article here. George Lynch recalls some early Van Halen memories. You want to check that out? Niels Zoslow, sorry, I can't say that name. Had an interview.
Lazor.
Yeah. Lazor. Yeah. An interview with George Lynch. That was pretty cool. Mammoth has announced a second set of headlining dates, including Indianapolis for our friend Kelsey. And there's a Nashville date in there too.
Yes, there is.
Fortunately, you're not going to get Nita Strauss. You're going to get Canadian instrumental progressive metal band Intervals, because they're opening the second leg.
I just happened to have seen Intervals for the last show. They just toured with the UK's Tesseract, and they were incredible. So
nice.
That is going to be that's really, really cool that Wolfie and company picked them up for the second leg of the tour. That's really cool. That just goes to show you that Wolfie is he's not, I don't know if anyone has ever thought that he's kind of living in the past with the music, because his music is, while modern, does have a little flair of, the rock days of yesteryear, like 90s style stuff, and that makes sense because he's a Foo Fighters fan, and Foo Fighters, they do it really well. But Wolfie is very much a fan of the modern day heaviness. Intervals is they're definitely one of those, and kind of a deep cut band, really. Like, if that's one of those bands where you only know if you know.
That's awesome.
So that's really, really cool. Good for Intervals, and good on Wolfie for bringing them on there. So now I'm doubly excited.
By the way, Scott Haskin confirmed Emerson, Lake and Palmer, ELP.
Wow. Well, I can't imagine what sort of a hologram that looked like. I mean, well, the one I'm picturing in my brain's kind of funny, so I'm just gonna let that one stick. But hilarious.
And then Scott,
is there a Rod Stewart? I feel like there should be a Rod Stewart hologram. Like that seems like that.
He's
would be
still
really
around.
Yeah, but is he though?
he just did a string of shows. He was in Saskatoon this past summer. But Scott Haskin.
That's just me being a dick.
He also wanted to point out that for the record, he started the nudity. Not his fault. It wasn't accepted. So yeah,
he thought it was Blue Balls Group.
That's
and,
right.
You know, I get it. I understand the mistake. Yeah, you gotta be
king of the Blue Balls is Scott Haskin.
Yeah.
One more. We got director. There's a film director that said Mean Street would be perfect for a horror movie song, which I believe we talked about when we covered Mean Street.
But, I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Directed by William Brent Bell, who did movies like The Boy, Orphan, First Kill, Stay Alive, The Devil Inside, Brahms, The Boy 2. He's an avid Van Halen fan, and Darren Paltrowitz, our good friend from the DLR cast, did an interview with him, and he talked about Mean Street being really well suited for a horror movie. So I thought that was kind of cool.
He definitely, you can tell from those movies. I've seen, I think, at least one from that list that that we just showed, and that director, at the very least, is certainly a horror film buff. You know, you can find the influences. So that is really, really cool. That
Scott
he
Monroe
wants to incorporate Mean Street. That's awesome.
And Scott says Sunday Afternoon would be a better horror movie. Yep, totally.
Yeah.
Quite the convo in the chat. Jeff Brewer was asking Scott Haskin, was everything blue? Scott Haskin in all caps, everything. And then Josh,
you have to. You have to.
You got to commit.
Obligated.
Yeah. And Josh is saying, no one please manifest a Coldplay hologram. Amen. I agree 100%.
What's wrong with Coldplay?
Tons, but we're not going to get into that here tonight. Finally, Michael Anthony is going to take part in an upcoming Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. That was just actually added to the Van Halen News Desk as we were chatting here. So where's that Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp?
Where
That'd
is
be a lot of fun.
Go.
Los Angeles, March 14th through the 17th in L.A. You get the jam with Michael Anthony, Warren DeMartini of Rat, Tommy Aldridge of Whitesnake, and Ozzy Osbourne fame. Camp guests also get to be part of a live performance with Sebastian Bach. There you go.
Is there an age limit? Because I want to go to fantasy camp.
Tell you what, the camp is open to everyone, regardless of your musical skill level. So that helps Scott Haskin. Whether you're a beginner picking up the guitar for the first time or an advanced musician like Mark looking to refine your skills, this camp offers an unparalleled opportunity to learn from the best in the business. There you go.
Well, let me just go ahead and say this, and I'll put it on the airwaves. And my dear, my love, my darling, if you're listening to this later, I'm going to need you to make sure to bail me out of jail in Los Angeles, because I'm pretty sure Sebastian Bach and I will fight. But it'll be fun, though.
What do you got against Sebastian, other than he's kind of an asshole?
Nothing at all.
He's a great singer,
though. I actually am a huge fan, but I am anticipating that our personalities will clash. And Sebastian doesn't have a great rep about certain aspects of himself. So I'm planning ahead, Corey.
I got you.
Planning ahead that and I sometimes I let the lips flap a little too much, and I feel like Sebastian Bach wouldn't appreciate. Yeah, and I feel like he wouldn't appreciate that, and eventually hands will be thrown. So I'm prepping ahead of time.
It's my only interaction with Sebastian Bach. I saw him perform live at the Casino Regina in Regina, Saskatchewan, and it was right after. It wasn't Dimebag. I can't remember. Somebody had just passed away, and he was really upset. But he went through with the show, and his solo band is great. He was in great voice and just a really personal guy to the crowd. I follow him on Twitter. He seems like a cool guy. I know he's burned a lot of bridges. Like Axl Rose really digs him, and a bunch of other people love him. Chris Jericho not so much. Everybody else at Skid Row not so much. But
yeah. Well, that's not if Axl Rose is saying like, yeah, he's all right, I like him, I'm like, ooh, that's not a shining endorsement at all. But so
even as I was saying it, I was like,
yeah, you're like, oh boy.
You know what? On your way to Fantasy Cap, pick up Tom. He says vacation sorted, Rock and Roll Fantasy Cap. He's going too.
Done. Yeah, because I will need I'll need witnesses to because I'm not gonna start a fight. I'm just simply saying I'm planning ahead in case it happens. I need witnesses.
It was Vinnie Paul when Vinnie Paul died.
Oh,
2018.
I was gonna say it was like when you said Dimebag, I was like, was it Vinnie? Because
I was thinking, was it a guitar player? But no, it was Vinnie, because him and Vinnie were really close. And he even he had passed away like 2 days before or something. So he had a solo band. It was like, can we try a Pantera song? I don't remember which one they attempted because they stopped pretty quick. And he's like, no, that ain't gonna work. But just know I'm really bummed, and thank everybody for coming out, because we're going to get through this together. And it was kind of a cathartic moment, because I'm not the world's biggest Pantera fan, but I think every rock music fan was really feeling the loss of Vinnie Paul. So it almost felt kind of therapeutic for everybody in that venue that night. And Sebastian put on a hell of a show, considering he was grieving.
That one, yeah, I mean, certainly the world kind of went silent when Dimebag passed. Yeah. But then, yeah, when Vinny passed, it was like both the Abbott brothers are gone. So like, what the fuck do we do now?
Yeah,
you know? Like the metal community was just at a complete loss.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to get too much into the whole reunion tours and everything about that with Pantera, but it's like, if I don't know, is it in poor taste? Yes, but no.
It's not as bad as an Avatar. It's not as bad as an Avatar.
No, it's definitely not as bad as these animated Avatars.
They came out with a Dimebag and a Vinny Avatar. Like,
oh, I think that whatever studio, if it was ILM that had the part in it, that ILM is going to get burned to the ground by a lot of really upset people.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all we have for Van Halen news this week, Mark.
Right on. So there it is. So then, with that being said, let's go over to our rock and poll and talk about the song last week and how you guys voted. Well, last week, as you know, we talked about Black and Blue from OU812.
That's right.
And we were pretty stoked on it. And we had we broke it down. There was a moment where I thought, lyrically, you guys are gonna tear this apart, and everyone's gonna downvote this song. But I'm very keen on it. I knew Corey was gonna be keen on it because he's been manifesting it for quite some time. So I was curious. I wonder how everyone else is gonna feel about it. And we got a whopping 83.3% What Dreams Are Made Of over a 16.7% The Dream Is Over. Corey, there is just no there's just no possible Sammy song that's gonna please people. I guess it's just not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. I think we just have to resign ourselves to the fact it's not gonna happen.
I mean, every week, or at least any week that we cover a Sammy track, the Sammy era track, I always prepare for the worst in terms of how it's going to be voting wise. We always talk about it like, we love it, but I know how people are going to vote on it. It's probably not going to get very high. But then I see this and I just go, yeah, it's mostly positive, but at the same time, like that, I feel like this song should have been voted much, much higher. And I guess I just got to know, what are people saying about it, or what aren't they saying? So I'm just going to dive right into the tweets on the poll, and I'm going to read from our patrons, because if you want your tweet guaranteed read on the show, join our Patreon and let us know. You could let us know. We'll read it out. We'll talk about it. You guys are very opinionated, and we love it. That's great. You keep the conversation alive, but sometimes we need extra context and we don't get it. So, but for Black and Blue, we're going to start with our buddy Sean McGinnity over at the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast. He says, I think I enjoyed the boys' reaction to Black and Blue more than the song. I imagine they must have had the stank face on the whole time.
Yep.
Not incorrect. Still an upvote for me. Finally got Corey E&E all over this song. If you don't know what that means, think about Plentywood, Montana.
I ordered the shirt. I was hoping it'd be here tonight. I would wear it on the show, but it's still in transit. I've made a big order on our merch store, www.podcastwillrock.com. I got my manifest shirt because I've manifested 3 times. And by the way, we've decided if you manifest more than once, maybe Mark and I will send you a shirt. Like I think you've earned it at that point.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of people.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, we got a lot of people who've got like 1 manifestation under their belt now. If you get 2, maybe we'll send you a shirt. So. Look forward to that.
Yeah.
But I got that one. I got the ejaculate and evacuate shirt coming, and I've got the.
Of course, had to have that one.
Had to have that one
for you.
And my apologies to Gary shirt is finally in transit. Yes. So.
Yeah, well, I'm not far behind you with a massive order myself. So
excellent.
Good on you. Our friend Kevin Brown says, I've always thought Black and Blue is musically the closest they came in the Hagar era to writing a Roth era track. Sonically, I could easily hear this on Mean Street, with different production, especially on the drums, obviously. Dumb lyrics, great music, hashtag what dreams are made of. And even though there are parts of the lyrics that are kind of dumb, it's not that dumb. I went back and I re-listened to Black and Blue, and I reread the lyrics, and I go like, it works. It just works for me. Well,
I got a comment for Don Wabo and Cabo, who's a former patron of ours, says always complaining about the lyrics. You and I were not so much though. Like we point out, they're kind of dumb. I think it was Jeff Brewer in the chat was like, in the days of the Me Too era, these lyrics aren't going to fly and that kind of thing. But if they're dumb, they're dumb. But both of us said it doesn't inhibit my enjoyment of the song at all. Like
no, not at all. That's why, I mean, again, I know I always go back to it, but it's a great example because it's their biggest song. Yeah. Jump's lyrics are so damn stupid.
Yeah, but it works. It's great.
No, because it works. It's great. It absolutely, it works. So
it doesn't have to be Chaucer. It's not poetry, right? Just sound cool.
We can't all be Dylan and, freaking Leonard Cohen out here, okay? We can't all just be like poetry all the damn time. Like, you want poetry, go listen to Tom Waits.
Or John Bon Jovi, right? Like,
sure. Greg Zito says, great show. This track is all about the guitar. The tone is dirty and gritty. The solo is wild and barely controlled. Definitely hashtag what dreams are made of. So there you go. And thank you, Greg, for enjoying the show. That's if nothing else, we try to at least be entertaining. Our friend Scott Monroe says, I posted my manifesto on Discord. I will go to that here in just a second. And then, not a lot of, we didn't get too many tweets on this one. But people were just, overall, we're just kind of like, great song, but, lyrically, whatever. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so Scott Monroe says, Black and Blue is dirty, 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 and I love it. Eddie Van Halen's riff is nasty in the best possible sense, and Alex is right there with him putting down a pulsating groove that has me head nodding the whole time. I love the harmonies and oohs on this one. Sammy's vocals are stellar, punctuated by primo howls and shrieks. The lyrics are classic Sammy at face value. There can be no question he's singing about a good time at the water park, wink. And if you don't get that reference, then tune into the show and you'll know. Great Eddie Van Halen solo as always, though it's like we're hearing him play deep down from the bottom of an underground cave. He needed to be higher in the mix there, as we always discuss with OU812. Even so, it's an amazing cacophony of animal-like tones in the darkness. Easily what dreams are made of here, and top tier album track for me. Absolutely, Scott, you nailed it. That is absolutely the case. Like lyrics aside, I mean, and sometimes, and I know I'm trying not to be too hypocritical because we have covered songs where I've thought the lyrics were so bad that I couldn't upvote it. Usually that doesn't happen until we get to Van Halen 3 territory, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Jeff Brewer says, lyrically, this song is the closest Van Hagar came to writing action dialogue for a late 80s rough adult film. Of course, I can only imagine what that would be like. So, I mean, that I would actually contend Up for Breakfast is more the adult film variety because one, it's stupid. And, two, you're not watching the adult film for the plot. Therefore, and you're not listening to Up for Breakfast for the lyrics, or maybe you are. And if you are listening for the lyrics, then I got bad news for you. It's not gonna have a great turnout, but there it is. Our buddy Chaz Charles says, don't draw the line. The fucking lyrics and the way they are delivered are Van fucking Halen. The wetter, the better, boys. The whole fucking song rocks. Amen. And he gave a whole bunch of emojis. So look at that. Even Chaz Mataz couldn't be swayed by the lyrics. He's all in. And then Jeff Brewer finally concludes with bottom line, great music and great vocals, all while lyrically Sam is treading water in a sea of I won't say that word. It's like a sea of sexuality and bad poetry. So there you go.
That's a line from Spinal Tap, so that's okay.
Yes, it's true, but I'm still not going to say the word.
I don't blame you.
So, sorry, Jeff. I can't. So there you go. And then let's see. I'll go ahead. Tom Rombrusser said he was just commenting on Scott Monroe's manifesto, saying he's a magnificent bastard for suggesting this one. I tend to block out Sammy's lyrics on this one, fully enjoying the guitar tones and vocal harmonies. I love the live solo, as you can hear Mike keeping that groove going and Al's skin pounding keeping it all together. insert wish it all sounded better comment here. Hashtag what dreams are made of. I know. And we're never going to stop. We're never going to rest until we get that remixed and remastered OU812 because it fucking deserves it. It absolutely deserves it. But there you have it, man. And without further ado, you know what it's time for now? It's time for our other favorite thing of the show besides listening to the song. It's right before it's the raise your glasses. There it is. Take a drink with me. Manifestation time.
Tell you what, we got some good ones on the Discord server. Let's go through those first. Scott Monroe wants to hear When It's Love. That would finish off OU812, so that's a gooder. Josh wants to hear Josephina put Van Halen 3 to bed. That'd be all right, too. Like, if we can finish off an album this week or next week, then, maybe we'll do like a New Year's ranking show for that. So,
ooh, yeah. Maybe so. Yeah.
Chaz wants to hear Spanked.
Approaching.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Jeff wants to hear anything but When It's Love, Josephina, and Spanked. He wants to go with Summer Nights. He's not ready to finish off an album, I guess. Tom is with Josh. He wants to hear Josephina or House of Pain. Knock off 1984. We're very close to knocking off a few albums
true.
here.
We're very close, yeah.
Yep. Michael Griffith wants The Trouble with Never. And Michael, who was on last week's show, the other Michael. We had Michael squared last week. The opening to Dance the Night Away Tonight would be awesome. There you go. We're just going to play the opening. Forget the rest of the song.
Just the opening, yeah. Just that cowbell. Yeah. Hey, look, I'd be cool with that, but then I would just want to listen to the rest of it. So. Yep.
Noted nudist Scott Haskin also wants to hear Spanked. Not shocking because he spent so much on fucking spank lines back in the 90s. Like, he was just constant. That's why he's got the carpal tunnel so bad.
They never said specifically what he had to do to, be percussive in the Blue Man group. So, like the rules weren't clear.
That's true.
So he can be forgiven. Oh my God. I'm laughing at the title you gave.
What title did I give him?
So, he's notable nudist, I think was just.
He has that on his business cards. I can't even take credit for that.
I love it. That tickled me in a very, very nice way. So, well, thank you for that.
Yeah, let Christy handle that from that on. Don't go to Scott Haskin for your tickling, because
I didn't say it tickled my pickle. That's for something else entirely. So, but that's not the show.
Stay away from Vegas.
The show here is, we already covered up for breakfast in black and blue. We're good. So,
there you go.
We're just. What do you want to manifest tonight, Corey?
Well, it's just you and I for the first time in a long time.
Been a while. I know, it's weird.
Yeah, and I thought, I could try and find a guest, but maybe we'll just have a Mark and Corey show. Just kind of keep it kind of low key. But we have all of our great patrons in the chat. There's 6 of them right now. Tom, the Scotts, the Jeffs, they're all here. It's all great. No Kevin Brown, of course, because he's got more important shit to do, like fucking soccer. Oh, we need another shirt, Kevin Brown. Notable nudist is now better than Thief of Joy. So, in terms of my catchphrases, we have a new leader, apparently. Notable nudist.
Notable nudist. And
that would look good on a T-shirt, actually. Yeah, notable nudist. That little smiling picture of Haskin. Like, come on, that's money.
Like a drawing of Scott Haskin, just like looking as
in Blue Man Group. Yeah, in Blue Man Group.
Paint him blue. Make him. It's a blue shirt. Oh my God! Please make that.
Oh,
happen,
Brown, come on, buddy. He's behind.
I know you're gonna listen to this Friday. Yeah, but I wish you were here, man. But because you can get on that quicker. But there you go. A blue notable nudist shirt.
That's right.
Please.
Anyway, I was thinking because it's just the two of us. I'm like, well, this might be a good night to manifest Amsterdam because is Christy home?
Oh, she's home.
She's home. There you go. So with just the two of us, Tom says, whatever fills your Twinkie. There you go. Scott Haskin, my Kiss style avatar is going to be a little blue Scott Haskin, notable nudist. That's right.
Notable, yeah. I'll be honest with you, Corey. Of the 20-something odd songs that we have left, I don't know what to manifest because I don't know which ones we have specifically left, other than Amsterdam, of course, and we got that proxy vote over there, so that's 2 for Amsterdam. I could just take the cheat and go, yeah, I'll vote Amsterdam. Why not? But I don't know if let me see that wheel real quick. If you can bring that up.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Because you got to bring it up anyway, because we got to spin it and choose a song.
There, can you see it now?
So I can see it. There you go. So let's see here. Oh my God, I can't believe. Yeah, we still haven't hit it. I manifested it before. I'm gonna do it again. Jamie's crying. That would be really, really fun. There you go. We're gonna do a. We got 2 for Sammy Hagar, and then you got me of all people going. No, give me a Dave Era tune. Give me Jamie's crying. All right, I would love it to hear it. So there you are.
There we are. All right. Well, we got the wheel up. I suppose. How many do we have in the chat here? I think we have 6. Plus you and I, that's 8.
Plus us 2, yeah. 8.
We'll do her 8 times. All right. Give me a second here. Still getting used to this whole OBS thing. So. Shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Then.
Here we go round.
No, we're so close. But we're going back to balance. It's time for Feelin. Oh, man, we were so close to humans being, everybody. And Amsterdam was right there, too.
And Amsterdam. It was right there. Yeah, it was. We got the one right in between Amsterdam and humans being.
Of course.
Oh, babe, you were so close, but for another day. All right. So not what I thought we were going to get whatsoever, but here we are.
Here we are indeed, yeah. So, I don't know, your thoughts on Feelin. This is the last track, if I remember correctly, from Balance.
Yeah. I mean, with Balance, it's kind of, I think at that point I had heard, the last time I spun Balance, at least like in its entirety, I think I was kind of just sort of, okay, I'm coming down like from the high of listening to the album, so I'm ready to take it easy or listen to something else. So I don't really have a lot of not to say that Feelin is a bad song, but I don't know that I've ever given it a lot of thought. I've definitely never analyzed it musically or lyrically, for what's going on with it. So I don't have a lot of feelings about Feelin, except for that I'm looking forward to listening to it. How about you?
Tom says it's a test run for Year to the Day. So,
aha.
I tell you, I have thoughts about Feelin.
Okay.
I just spun this record not that long ago. I'm not going to tip my hand at all. Scott says, for me, it was always the track I skipped after playing Aftershock. So,
oh, I see.
And even though there's a few more songs after Aftershock, you got Strung Out, Not Enough, and Take Me Back. So,
yeah. So, like, maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe I was kind of the energy had been expelled, and so like when Feelin came around, it was just sort of like, all right, whatever. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I might have a different feeling on it listening to it now.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about this song, like for inside info or anything.
Sure, yeah.
Obviously, we're going to be listening to the new remaster of it, so
yes,
it should sound a little better. But I don't have any like interesting tidbits or anything from Feelin. I don't have my copy of the Van Halen Encyclopedia in front of me tonight because I'm dumb and I'm not very not very prepared for a podcast.
None of our experts are on the call with us right now. So
that's right.
Unless you guys in the chat are more of the experts, because may I add, because sometimes I forget, and shame on me, Corey and I are not rock historians, and we're not experts on Van Halen.
Oh,
we're not. No, dude.
Why are we doing a podcast then?
Fans.
Jeez.
Because we're just
qualified?
fans. We're not. No, we are completely unqualified to do it. But that's not going to stop us from talking about it.
Fuck no. When did that ever stop us to talk about anything?
Never. Exactly.
All right. Let's check out the 2023 remaster, the final track of the Sammy Hagar era of Van Halen. This is Feelin.
Out of touch most of the time. Got a lot of things on my mind. Kicking down the worst start. It's the hardest thing. Oh, Lord.
All right, Mark, we're a little slow starting here, maybe. It almost kind of sounds like they're not giving their all.
It's like it feels like a decompression. It's like, all right, we're coming to the end here, so we're just kind of taking it easy a little bit. And yet, even with Eddie sort of finger picking this progression, there's still like a little bit, and maybe it's just because he's got his overdrive distortion on there, but it still feels like it's got some edge to it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost maybe like a warning, so to speak, where it's just yeah, we might be slowing it down for a second, but don't get too comfortable because it's like gonna blow you away later. Like maybe that's the energy he's trying to convey with this opener. I like it though. I like the arrangement of the chords that he's picking out. It's very cool.
Now, for an album closer, do you prefer like an all-out balls rocker? Do you prefer like a slower, more introspective song, especially an album like Balance? How would you end an album like Balance?
See, that's what I was going to say. It depends on the album. It depends on the vibe of the album, the flow. If it's a band, like if it's let's say it's Van Halen 1, where it's like every track's a banger. Most of them are just like fast paced. They're going. Like even the ones that are a little bit slower aren't real. They're still rocking pretty hard. Mm-hmm. I would expect a grand finale out of that. You know what I mean? And I think Van Halen 1 ends pretty damn well.
Oh shit.
For Balance
on fire. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But so you get my point. Yeah. I mean, but for Balance, I guess it's kind of it's weird. I don't want to say that you balance out, so to speak, with the the heavy hitters, and then you're slowed down sort of melodical things, but for Balance, I guess just the way it progresses, I might have expected something slower, but something that builds and builds and builds into something like pretty incredible, pretty monstrous. So so far, if you're listening to this for the first time, so far it's like okay, so they're gonna take it easy for a minute. Maybe they're gonna build. Maybe they're gonna give us some explosion at the end, or maybe they don't. That's kind of the guessing game. I would expect this song. I mean, this is probably the best of any of the songs on the album to end with.
Well, and compared to the other Sammy closers, let's think 5150 ended with Inside, which was a miss for both of us. OU812, the vinyl version anyway, ended with Sucker and a three-piece. Not the best song on that record, but a good up-tempo one. For Unlawful, was that Top of the World? Finish that one off?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so which is like a perfect closer for that record.
Yeah, that's an absolute close. So that's the one where it's like, okay, we missed the mark a couple times. How do we rectify that? It wouldn't shock me if Top of the World was written ahead of time with the knowledge that this is what we're gonna end the album with, just so that they knew. But yeah, you're right. Now that you put it into perspective, like, oh wow, no, they don't close very well except for that one time. So maybe it's possible. And again, we're not experts, so we can't say for certain. Maybe it's possible they just ran out of steam, but they had to close it with something. And we get what we get.
The band was at odds during this period, right? They were getting very disenfranchised with Sammy at this point. So, all right, let's keep going.
Grow along, shave it off. Life is hard, never soft. I need a change, I need it quick before it makes me sick.
That's telling.
That's what's on my mind. Now pay attention, watch your back. Pay your dues and stay on track. Got no room to second guess. Puts me under stress. Oh.
So are you reading a little band drama into these lyrics a little bit? I need a change, I need it quick before it makes me sick?
Oh yeah. Like, matter of fact, the more I think about it and the more I look at it, I'm going, oh, this is all band drama is what this is. That's what this song is. Now I could be reading too much into it, but I don't know. You did just happen to mention how much they were at odds during this point, and like this is the song they're gonna close with, and this is what Sammy's singing about. Kind of makes you wonder.
Now pay attention, watch your back, pay your dues, and stay on track. Got no room to second guess, puts me under stress.
I mean, maybe it's a little bit on the nose, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me because Sammy's good about that.
Yeah,
That's we've previously discussed with songs that he's written that sometimes he is less metaphorical and more direct, or maybe not direct, but just sort of like, this is what it is. Like this
he
is
cuts to the chase.
I'm feeling right
yeah,
now.
exactly.
Cuts right to the chase.
And the song is called "Feelin," so he's feeling something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gives you, if you have all that in mind, gives you a real perspective of his state of mind as to how he was, at least in the recording process, perhaps, where they were at. And that's not unheard of. There are a lot of bands out there that make some killer records and they get real frustrated during the recording process, and sometimes you can hear it, sometimes you can feel it based on the song, but and usually once they're done and they can decompress from all that and stay, walk away from it for a second, it's like, okay, I'm good, coming back, we're good. I had to get away from you guys, in that tiny room, and had to get away from all this shit. So it happens. It's not a strictly Van Halen thing. It happens to every band at some point. So this is just Sammy laying it out on the line, it seems.
Tom in the chat really likes you can hear Mikey in the backing vocals.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, like, kind of choral, little inspired little ahs going right there. It's just sort of a little ethereal thing. Makes it more pretty.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep going.
If I were you, if you were me, I wonder who I wanna be. With just one wish I can't refuse, I wouldn't know what to choose.
What a transition that was.
No kidding, eh?
Like, it's almost as if the boys caught wind of what Sammy's saying. It was like, oh shit, no, this is a bummer. We gotta like spice it up a little bit. And you can almost hear it in Eddie's playing, where he just kind of just like, it feels like he just sort of slaps the strings and like, all right, here we go. I'm gonna waken you all up, whatever, and then keeping the vibe though. They're still keeping the vibe, so it's not straying too far away from the structure of the song, but it's a shift. It's a very obvious shift, and I find that really funny.
Feeling. No, I don't like what I've been told. I'm feeling. Again, that could be a little inside baseball, but Tom points out at the time you didn't know the band were mad at each other, so when you listen, it's more universal. Now with the hindsight, with the benefit of hindsight, you can read it more into those lyrics. At the time, not so much. And then Scott Monroe, who's just the genius of our chat always, pointed out that it hadn't occurred to him, but the choir-like backing vocals juxtaposed nicely with the monk chant on the opener, Seventh Seal. So you got a little bookend there, right? Nice.
Yeah,
that's Scott Monroe, I tell you. He should be doing a podcast on Van Halen.
He really should. He's coming for my job. That's exactly what I think he's doing.
No, he's coming for my job.
Scott.
He can have it too. I got too many buttons to push nowadays. I'm getting confused. But
Scott will be your new herald if you are the Galactus of the podcasting galaxy.
He'll be my Silver Surfer.
Your herald.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's your Silver Surfer. There you go, Scott the Silver Surfer Monroe.
Love it. All right, let's keep going.
Give me that.
White is black, got politicians smoking crack, and John Paul's all bulletproof.
Okay, so politicians smoking crack, that's a reference to either what the mayor of Washington was smoking crack, and the mayor of Toronto was also a crack addict way back in the day.
Oh.
So there was a couple. John Paul's all bulletproof, that would be the Pope, I'm assuming, in his little Pope-mobile.
Yeah, that's the Pope.
Okay.
I didn't know about the politicians smoking crack. If that little nugget of knowledge,
how can you not know? Was his name Marion Barry? Some American checked me. I think it was Marion Barry was the mayor of Washington, and got caught smoking crack, and then the mayor of Toronto also.
Well, I wouldn't have known about the mayor of Toronto because just that that's Toronto. I don't know Canadian news.
Oh, but he was he became famous because he was really unhinged and and kind of crazy.
Enough.
Yeah, he made a lot of late night monologues. Let me put it that way.
Oh, I see. Maybe so. Well, I guess that stuff just went right over my head. Because,
Al Ford, not Al Ford. I can't remember his name. His brother Doug Ford is the current premier of Ontario. So he'd be like the governor of a state. He's the premier of the province.
Keep an eye on that guy then. Keep it key and make sure his nose is clean, so to speak.
Yep. Michael, Washington D.C. Yeah, was it Marion Barry? Somebody in the chat's got to correct me on that. And who is the mayor of Toronto? I don't think we have any Canadians in the chat right now. I mean, we have to actually look that up while the song is playing.
Do y'all have mayors in Canada?
Oh, we sure do. Yeah.
Okay.
The mayor of my current town is used to own a whorehouse in the Philippines. That was fun.
Ooh, all right.
We're a town of 10,000 people.
That's just a fun little nugget there.
Rob Ford, there. Yeah, Rob Ford. Anybody remember Rob Ford?
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
You said the name, yeah. I was like, well, I need a name here because I'm blanking on it. I was like, oh, Rob Ford. Jesus. Okay. All right, I got you. Well, there you go, Sammy. Sammy Hagar keeping it relevant.
Yeah, a little dated on the whatever. A little dated on the lyrics. John Paul. When was he almost assassinated? That was in the 80s, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
I think it was the 80s. Right. Yeah, I'm not a big Catholic or anything, but Scott.
So it was.
Scott Everett says I am correct on Marion Barry.
Yeah, it wasn't too far removed from this time period.
Well, we're the 90s for balance, right? And
yeah.
80s for
exactly.
Yeah, Rob Ford, Marion Barry, I think are more timely, but.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And you and me, I wonder who I'd rather be. If I had one wish, I could get feeling. Oh, what I've been told I'm feeling. And I'm seeing what no one else will ever know. I'm seeing. Come on, feeling.
Before we get into the next section here, I don't know what you're feeling, but I'm feeling like this is kind of like stock. Like it's kind of paint by numbers. We need a song to kind of finish off the album. There's really nothing that anyone in the band is really doing at this point to elevate this to be something more than it is. And we talk about this a lot of time on the Aerosmith show, where everyone's just going through the motions and like, we're going to put out a ballad because people like ballads and we're the ballad band, and they're just going through the motions and it's just kind of stock and it just feels like it's there. And that's almost what this kind of feels like. You don't get cool little Eddie moments or cool little Alex moments really, or cool little Mikey moments that kind of elevate it and make this a really cool Van Halen tune. It sounds like it'd be something off a Sammy Hagar solo record, which isn't a bad thing because he's made a lot of great solo records. But I don't know. I'm kind of wanting a little bit more out of this. How about you?
It feels like it's. I mean, I think maybe we were onto something when we feel like this is the album closer. They are at odds. Like Sammy and the guys are kind of at odds, and he's written this song. I think they're just exhausted. I think they're kind of tired of one another for a little while. Definitely the issues that Sammy is having with the brothers are pretty apparent, and I think maybe even the brothers themselves are kind of burnt out at this point, where they're just like, I don't, whatever, we got one track left to do, sure, here you go, we'll just do some simple bullshit, and they're not gonna make it so simple bullshit that it sounds like crap, just absolute just dog shit, but I mean they're gonna they're not trying their hardest is I think what I'm trying to say here. They're not going out of their way to make some sort of big musical statement of like, that's how you cap off a record, bro. It's like, no, they're just like, all right, this is what we got, and here it is. And or maybe they're allowing maybe Sammy had a moment where he's just like, look, I've written this thing and I've got to get these frustrations out, so let me just do it. And maybe the guys are like, fine, whatever, say what you want, we'll put some music to it.
Yeah.
And then here you go. There's even a moment in the lyrics where it sounds like Sammy was trying to digress into something else. Like, no, I'm talking about the status of the world and how it's all weird and fucked and it's crazy. But then he comes back to like, I don't know what I'm feeling, man, but it's like, it's like all this stuff going on. I think he's definitely showing how conflicted he is with his position in the band, maybe even his position as a famous musician, and then just especially a famous musician in this band in particular.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what this sounds like. Exhausted frustration is what this sounds like. It is like a paint by numbers sort of thing. Yeah.
We got a lot of cool comments in the chat. I'm just going to go through real quick here. Scott Everett points out he loves what Sammy's doing vocally throughout, and
yes,
you could say that on almost any Sammy Hagar song, solo, Montrose, Van Halen, Chickenfoot, doesn't matter. The guy can fucking sing. Absolutely, you're correct there. Scott Monroe, Mike's high harmonies, and I'd take it chef's kiss. Whenever he does the high harmony, it's a chef's kiss, right?
Absolutely. I'm glad somebody brought that up.
Absolutely, yeah. Jeff Brewer says, I agree, Corey. One time Ed thought this may become their stairway of heaven. He was wrong. Yeah.
Oh, no, not even close.
Scott Monroe, it's got a very 90s vibe, grunge-like, Lincoln Spirited, Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. That one is more successful, though. For me anyway, especially I'm not a big aficionado of 90s music, but to me that song, it's one of my favorites off balance actually, and it slots right into that 90s vibe perfectly. This one, it almost we're trying to sound like Soundgarden. We're not even close though. And then Scott Everett, there's a lot of health stuff at this time. Ed needed a new hip to have some sort of procedure. Yeah, so they were all beat up. Of course, after they recorded the album, they went on the ambulance tour because Ed had his hip, and then Alex did the whole tour pretty much in the neck brace, right? So yeah, they were pretty beat up at that time. Right, that's a good call, Scott. So
well, there you go. Yeah, so they're frustrated mentally and emotionally probably, and then they're exhausted physically for sure.
Yeah.
So just on all counts. So yeah, you can hear it. You can hear the exhaust.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep going.
And then Don Landy said, show them who you are. And all of a sudden, Eddie and Alex look at each other and go, oh, fuck this. Here we go.
Except it wasn't Don Landy. It was Bruce Fairbairn.
Oh, yeah, that's my bad. My correction. There you go. Yeah, I correct myself. Bruce Fairbairn, show them who you are, because, like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden, you talk about a shift in tone. A tonal shift to like a vibe tone, not like literally the guitar tone, but just that too, but just a vibe tonal shift all of a sudden, like, oh right, we're Van Halen. We're not gonna end this shit on some sappy existential retrospective shit. Like, we're tired, yes, and we're frustrated with shit, but also we're Van Halen. So here you go. Let us show you. Like Alex start us off and just with those rolls, and then Eddie coming in with that like very sick solo. Like holy God, I'm gonna be honest. I completely forgot this section. I completely forgot about this section. So that was a wow. What the fuck? Like if I was listening to Van Halen for the first time ever, or for the first time in a long time, and then I was listening to this song, that happened, I would go, what the fuck just happened? What was that? Who is this band? Like, where did that come from?
And as cool as it was, does it fit what the song is though? Like up to that point, right? Had the whole song been this, or at least had some sort of thread before and after this, I could see. But this just kind of comes out of left field. It's cool as fuck, but does it justify what we heard before this? I don't know.
That is the question.
Let's go back to the chat.
Scott Monroe says, best part of the song here, Berserker mode.
Fucking right. Yeah.
Mode. That's exactly what that is.
Tom, whoa, I can hear the bass under the solo. When was the last time you could do that right? It sounded great. Yeah.
That is true.
He even said it's almost distracting. Yeah, because you're like, oh my God, I can hear Mikey. What the hell?
Like, am I supposed to? I feel naughty.
Yeah. Michael Triplett says, not a top-ranked track on this album, but there is a flow. And that's where I'm not sure if there is, because we kind of had this introspective feeling song and then into Berserker mode. And it's like, if there was a better transition there, maybe, but I don't know. Josh.
Well, I mean, I will agree there is a flow to the song, but definitely this particular shift kind of throws a wrench into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Josh says the conflict Sammy had with Ray Daniels played a role, I'm sure, which, if you know the band's history, absolutely. And then Scott Everett, well, that escalated quickly. And then back to reality, which we're kind of coming back into now with the song. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I tell you.
So, a nice, honestly, it's kind of a nice respite because, the flow of the song was kind of, as you said, was paint by numbers, kind of not really contributing anything new or substantial. And then all of a sudden, someone flipped the switch, and here they are. But then, apparently, they come back.
It's like
just a little taste.
To put it in movie terms, Mark, you're a movie fan. I'm a movie fan. If you were sitting down to watch like 3 hours of Martin Scorsese's silence, very slow moving and plotting, then all of a sudden a Fast and Furious movie kicked in halfway through, you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? Then you go back to silence. That's kind of what it feels like.
It'd be like, oh man, like Marty, I applaud your boldness in this really weird transition in the second act, but oh man, couldn't we stay on that for a little bit? Like, no? Oh, all right.
All right, let's keep going.
Out of touch most all the time. Got too many things on my mind. Shutting down, I gotta stop this thing.
Seeing things that I don't know what I'm feeling. Yeah. You can certainly read something into those lyrics if you wanted to.
I think it's there. We've established that Sammy is he's an on the nose writer. I think he's kind of just laying it all out there for us where he's at right now, in that current, or where he's at in this current state of mind, doing this. And maybe it also kind of a commentary on the song itself, where it's just like, I like what we're doing. I'm feeling a particular way, although I'm not quite sure what it is I'm feeling, because this arrangement is we were going a particular way, and then we have like this little weird middle section, and I don't know what I'm feeling right now. But no, I think it's more on the nose than that. But yeah, we could be wrong. He could be literally just talking about the status of the world where he was at the time. And he's not even talking about the band. I don't think that's true, but you could look at it that way.
I don't know what I'm feeling listening to it. Like the song is kind of dyslexic. Yeah. There's elements that really work, and there's some that don't. So I don't know what the fuck I'm feeling.
You don't know where you're going with it. We were almost done with it as well. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see where you land.
Let's finish this one off.
You'll certainly be feeling a particular way after that track. There it is. Feelin, the closer off Balance. Wow. Definitely, we've had a lot to say about this track so far, and give you a second to collect your thoughts there, Corey, because just not 30 seconds ago you were conflicted with how you were feeling.
I still am. You know who's not though? Chaz, who just chimed in the chat. Yeah. He says puke.
Puke. Just a simple. It's hilarious. I as often as we talk with Chaz, and as often as he has made his opinions very vocal, it's hard to get a read on him sometimes when because I never know how he's gonna go towards a particular Van Halen track, and so that's a good thing sometimes, and sometimes I just go, all right. You liked one of these songs we did a while back, and you were really into it, and then but this one was, you're drawing the line. Like okay. But that's the beauty of music. It's all subjective. Yeah. It all hits us at particular times, and sometimes it's a hit, and then sometimes it's a miss.
What I love is that on Chaz's show, he talks for like 2-3 hours before they even get to the song they're going to cover. On our show, he just writes puke.
He just writes puke.
Yep. Love it.
Simple. Just keeping it simple. Either that, or he's giving us an update to his status over in his area of the world. It's like he's not feeling very well.
He may be sick. Yeah, there is something going around. Yeah, hopefully you're feeling better, Chaz. But...
yeah. I just got over a stomach thing myself, so hopefully you guys are okay. So.
But I tell you what,
with that,
I'm gonna call the vote because you never get to go first.
Okay.
And this one here, I'm a little conflicted. I'm gonna let you vote first, Mr. Kamire. So what do you think? Feelin, the final track off Balance. Is this what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
I have a feeling this one's gonna get real interesting in conversation. Here's the thing. Is this song one of their best? No, it's definitely. I don't even think it's their best on this album. No, I mean not by a long shot. However, there is something to be said about the sort of the calm, steady storm of Van Halen. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, they can be balls to the wall, rocking out the entire time, and then sometimes they can be all melodic, ethereal, and pretty, and with your power ballads, and you know what you're gonna get. This is a track. If you hadn't heard it, you just weren't sure what you were gonna get, because the whole vibe starts one way, And then, as we talked about, it's like it might have hurt the song more than help it with the sudden shift in tone of the vibe with the solo by Eddie. But I tell you, we have also talked about sometimes not so great Van Halen songs can be saved by Eddie's rip roaring solo, or if maybe one of the other guys does something so extraordinary that we focus on it, and it's such a positive high that we cannot downvote. I gotta tell you something. Eddie's solo with Alex's little drum roll intro, like let's not negate that whatsoever because it's awesome. The combination of the brothers just in at least in my head canon giving themselves like a wink, like, all right, let's kick this up. And they gave us that incredible, explosive, weird, as Corey said, like a Fast and Furious movie interrupting Scorsese's silence out of nowhere. Did it fit the vibe of the song? Not entirely, and yet, because they transitioned so easily back into the sort of slow pace of the rest of the song, not to mention lyrically, it never changed. It never sways. Like Sammy is giving, you can say he's talking about this or he's talking about that, whatever, but it doesn't digress. He stays pretty consistent with the content of the lyrics. And then I mentioned earlier, that intro felt like this was a riff that's going to build to something. And then I was kind of, I was sort of disappointed when I was like, oh, well, it's not really building to something until I realized, oh, yes, it is. It is building to something. It's building to this middle section, and then we're going to come back. But then the rest of the song is going to build and build and build, and that's none more apparent than, the riffs are playing. It feels like they're being played like louder and harder, and then you got that wonderful sort of keyboard orchestra in the background just lifting it up, and I'm a sucker for that. I'm just gonna tell you, I love me some rock and roll orchestral shit. And I don't know, man, I can't. I was engaged throughout this whole thing. I was at no point did they make me lose interest. If anything, I was more interested to see, like, oh, are they gonna throw in another wrench like in the middle of the road? Is there gonna be another thing in the road that we have to sort of prepare for, or is it going to be the paint by numbers sort of thing that we started with? And it just left me guessing. And honestly, I dug the riffs, and I dug the musicianship, and I dug the sound, like the full sound, especially towards the end. It felt like this big full sound on top of everything that is going on with Sammy lyrically, and then if you put it into context of where, if we are going to go by the mindset that he was just unsure about his time in the band, he was unsure about where everybody was, and hence the name of the song, hence the content. I don't know. It really gave me this vibe of finality, and that's why this goes at the end of the album. That's why it's, you call it Balance. So you're going to end you're going to end the album called Balance with this erupting song that is sort of melancholy at first, but then it builds into this grand gesture and sort of leaves you feeling like we don't know what the future has. We don't know what happens after this. We don't know if there is a next chapter. There would be, but we didn't know that. Nobody knew that. And it sounds like the boys didn't know. So with all of that piled up on each other, this song could easily have been just a train wreck. But for me, it wasn't. For me, it just, again, it kept me engaged, and it kept the vibe was consistent to me, and I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the hell out of that solo. And for all of those reasons, and I'm sure I can think of some other reasons later, but as of this moment, with all of that being said, for me, that is why, maybe not by a lot, but it is what dreams are made of. Feelin, for me, is what dreams are made of. So there you are. Those are my thoughts, my unfiltered thoughts on the matter. And so I put it to you, Corey. Corey, you you were unsure, you were unclear. Maybe you've got a better perspective now, or maybe you got your thoughts collected. So, without further ado, was Feelin like for me what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
I tell you what, I was right on the fence the entire time until I heard you talk, and I heard all your points, and it just kind of reinforced how I was going to vote this week. Actually, that's wrong. It's very close for me, but I can't upvote this one. It's like two great tastes that don't taste great together. It's like peanut butter and tuna. There's just there's good elements of this song, and but they don't fit. You're kind of jamming a square peg into a round hole for me quite a bit. And maybe it's just because I'm coming off doing the Genesis show with Kevin Brown, where melodically and thematically everything kind of had to make sense for me in Genesis. This kind of had the same thing. It's almost like two different songs mashed together that don't quite work. A lot of comments in the chat are saying it reminds me of something from Van Halen 3. And I agree. It's disjointed like something from Van Halen 3. The comparison there is Year to the Day, which is a song we both upvoted. I was very close on that one too. The solo on this is incredibly cool. The production is fantastic. Josh says watermelon and ketchup. Yes, he gets my point. Watermelon and ketchup. Peanut butter and tuna.
Some people like watermelon 100%. And ketchup.
No one does. I don't know how you guys do it in the South, but
I don't like it. But
I won't say anything bad. Well, if Christy likes it, it's good in my books then. But
some people do in the South.
I tell you though, it just doesn't work. It's too dyslexic for me. Like the solo is cool, and there's little elements here and there that are cool. Lyrically, I can see where he's going, but it's just too blah. It's just too average. It just doesn't elevate to where I expect Van Halen to be. And as an album closer, I don't think so. Maybe a song like Take Me Back, Deja Vu would have been better. Maybe you go with, Don't Tell Me, maybe is a good closer. That kind of fits as song number 3. Scott Monroe says he'd eat peanut butter and tuna. There you go. Give it a try, buddy. Who knows? Might be good. I just pulled that out of my ass, so we'll see. But I tell you, just didn't quite work for me. It's got to be cohesive. It's like a movie. If I'm watching a movie about monks or whatever, and then all of a sudden Vin Diesel is jumping a car over a gorge, or between two skyscrapers, and we go back to the monks, it's like, well, this doesn't make any fucking sense. And that's kind of where I landed on this one too. In the beginning and the ending weren't as cool as the middle, so I'm barely on the I don't recommend side. So I tell you what, we've been pretty positive on this record. This is my first downvote on Balance, and you haven't downvoted anything yet off of Balance. We still have we got Amsterdam, we got Aftershock, and we got Take Me Back. We got 3 tracks left on this one, but I'm very curious to see what the poll is going to say. I think in the chat is pretty unanimous that they're pretty close too, but I think it's kind of a downvote. Tom says, would you have liked it better if it wasn't the last song on the album? I don't know. I don't know if I would have liked it better. Yeah. I still would have downvoted it. I just think it just kind of reinforces my vote that it was the last song on the album. I would want an album. I go back to Van Halen 1. On Fire was like the perfect outro. Top of the World is the perfect outro to For Unlawful. Would a song like Take Me Back been a better outro? When we cover it, maybe we'll discuss that. I don't know. But would I have preferred crossing over on this record as opposed to this one? Yep. So that's kind of ultimately why I downvoted this one here tonight. It's still not terrible. I've certainly heard worse, and I've heard worse from this band. But
that's true. Yeah.
On an album I generally really like nowadays. Yeah.
I had a feeling this was going to be one. It's rare when you and I are split. Like overall, like usually we find common ground and we tend to vote similarly. It's been a while since we've been like split voting, and I had a feeling that was going to be it. And need I remind you when I said this wasn't by a large margin that I've upvoted. Like it had to work for it, because I was all in with you the whole way. I was going like, it's not terrible, but I don't think it's gonna get the upvote. And I don't know, man. I was just swayed by that the randomness of that middle section, and then but again, like really what that ending just kind of solidified it for me. And I'm not even completely sure why. I might have to we'll come back to it when we finish Balance. we'll talk about that track again, and we'll talk about all of it. But we'll talk about that track again. Maybe at that point I'll have a more clear, concise reason as to why it's like, oh, okay, it's I upvoted because strictly this, or maybe not. Maybe it's just rambling just like before, or perhaps after some time I go like, no, you know what? I'm not so hot on this anymore. So you never know.
Jeff pointed out Van Halen 1 on the cassette. Ice Cream Man was the closer, which is also a perfect closer. And he's absolutely right.
I don't know if that's a perfect
I
closer,
like it. I like it as a closer.
It's a good closer. Yeah. It's a good one. Yeah. But I'm not going to hate on Ice Cream Man too bad. But yeah, there you go. So. Yeah.
What does that mean? All right, everybody in the chat, I want you to get your guesses and no cheating. We're on the honor roll, honor system here, gentlemen. Yeah, we are going to find out what Mark Meyer thinks. You're all alone here tonight, so you're competing against yourself. Yeah. How many times do you think Van Halen performed Feelin'?
I don't think they performed. I don't think they did.
You think it's a 0?
Well, all right. I won't say 0 because that seems like a cheat. All right, I'll say 10 times.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you one of these. Technically, you would have won, but you're so far fucking away. Tom says 125. Scott Haskins said never. Tom was over. You were under, but the correct answer is 104 times.
Oh, wow. Okay. I just would have figured this one wouldn't have made the cut for live shows.
No, they played it in 95, all on the Balance tour there. Yeah.
Well, all right then. There you go.
And Scott guessed 65. I'm going to give him the win because he was definitely closest.
Good job, Scott.
Yeah, and he knew. Mike Triplett said 25. Better guess than Mark, but unfortunately incorrect. Mark was way off though. Boy.
Way off. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I just that's my fault or at least I didn't say stick with 0 because I just
like Scott Haskin did. Yeah.
It didn't seem like this was one of the tracks like from Balance that they would have played live, but I'm kind of glad that they did, and now it makes me really wonder what a live version of this sounds like. So I don't know, maybe I can go back and find that.
Jeff is at 95. He was pretty close. We still
he was close.
Yep. Chaz says, I'm done with that great call on Ice Cream Man.
There you go. So, but the poll is going to be an interesting one this time, you guys. Be on the lookout for that, and I am looking forward to all of the backlash that I will receive for upvoting it, or maybe I won't. Maybe
it won't. Yeah, I'll get the backlash for downvoting it. Yeah.
Maybe it'll just be, or I'm thinking it'll be just people going like, nope, this song sucks, and that's it. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Yep. I'll be the asshole.
By the way, Chaz's guess was 1, so he was farther away than you were. Yeah.
See, boom, nailed it. I do anticipate in the poll this one will probably be not upvoted.
It feels like a 50-50 to be honest with you. Like I think it's going to be close.
Could be a 50-50. Yeah. I think it might actually turn out to be like a 60-40 Dream Is Over.
Okay.
But, who knows? But it's a Sammy track, so right away you have to acknowledge that it's going to be voted it's going to be downvoted a particular way anyway.
Yeah. At best, it's going to be 60% up, but I don't know if it's going to get
there. At best, yeah. No, I do not think it will crack 60% in the upvotes. But hey, you know what, you guys? Prove me wrong. Maybe you all had the same experience I did. Maybe this song absolutely works for you. Maybe you're just an overwhelming fan of the album Balance, and you dare not downvote any track from it. It happens. There are Sammy Hagar fans out there, I assure you. So, I don't anticipate them busting this one out for the upcoming tour. But if they do, that would be really cool to see.
That would be surprising. Yeah.
I look forward to seeing Satriani's interpretation of that middle section because holy shit, him and Jason Bonham both.
That'd be pretty cool.
Just go ham, you guys. Yeah, this is great. Yeah. Maybe they only play that middle section just as like an Easter egg. They just play that. They don't play like the rest of the songs.
I'd be all in for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I bet you would. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Maybe we'll get little surprises in store, but until that time, it's all wishful thinking. I want to thank all of you guys in the lurking chats, our humble patrons and our good friends. And I'm gonna acknowledge you right now. I'm not gonna acknowledge who is in the chat right now because there's a few of you and I can't see everybody. However, I am gonna acknowledge our Patreons. Right away, let's go. We got Matt Lacoste, Nate from the Deep Purple Podcast, Rava Flav, Josh Caldwell, Greg Zito, Michael Griffith, Chaz Charles, Sean McGinnity, Kevin Brown, Per Lineker, Scott Monroe, Ryan Powell, Jeff Brewer, Ben Andriozzi, Tom Armbruster, Scott Everett, Heath McCoy, Janice Risco, Brad Gould, Michael Triplett, and Davey Lee Smith. Thank you all so much for your continued support. You guys, you keep the lights on and you keep us smiling big because you always interact and you keep the conversations going. And that is it's beneficial to us. It keeps we only have so many songs left, but it's still want you to know it keeps the drive alive. So keep to it, man. We still got some songs to go. We still got live shows to do. So be ever so present. And you guys out there not on the Patreon list, that's okay. Thank you for listening too. But if you do want to get in on being on the show, if you want your tweets guaranteed read on the show, and hey, if you want to just get in on the conversation all the time because the Discord is lively. I can't keep up with the Discord some of the time because you guys you chat and you chat and you chat and it's great and I love it. Sometimes it just takes a while for me to catch up, but you all that are not on the Patreon, you should absolutely do that so you can get involved in the conversation, man. It's a lot of fun. It's very entertaining, if nothing else. So do that. Keep the spirit of Van Halen alive. Go on over to www.podcastwillrock.com where you can check out all of the backlog episodes in case you missed anything. We also have a link to our merch store. Hey, it's the holiday season, you guys. And you know what your loved ones would absolutely adore? They would adore an Apologies to Gary shirt because I won't rest. I tell you, I won't rest until I get me a small army of people wearing Apologies to Gary shirts all the time, so that eventually he'll take notice and ask, "What the hell is that?" And then you'll tell him, "You gotta go check out this podcast, man. They're real big fans of yours." And hey, maybe he'll be keen to come out and check us out and be on the show and talk to us. I would love to pick that man's brain. So make my dreams come true. Get yourself a shirt. And if you don't want an Apologies to Gary shirt, cool. Get yourself lots of other shirts. We've got so many courtesy of our designer and friend Kevin Brown. He always keeps up with the yucks as far as shirt designs go. And according to this show, he'll have another one to look forward to. And boy, I look forward to seeing whatever comes of that. Kevin, please make the Blue Scott Askin notable nudist shirt happen. Scott, I assume we have your permission, but if we don't, it's okay, bro. It's
we're doing it anyway. Yep. Fuck it.
We're gonna do it. It's fine. You just make peace with it. But you can find all of our stuff over there. All of our socials. We're on Facebook and X. We have an Instagram, but we don't really do anything with it. So I'm sorry. I mean, nothing too interesting there, anyway. So tweet at us. Facebook, comment at us, all the things, and then find me at Mark the Bat on Twitter and Instagram or X, whatever it's called. I don't know, but if you don't want to do that, that's cool too, because honestly, that app is just the pit of hell. But hey, Corey, our show and the Podcast Will Rock is part of a larger collective network, and it is called the Deep Dive Podcasting Network. What other shows can people expect from this network that they can find if they want to take a break from Van Halen and listen to something else?
You know what? I'm going to tell you in a minute, but first I want to give a special shout out. Mark,
okay.
I haven't even shared this with you yet, but we got a great email from Italy. From a guy by the name of Luca Biolozzi, and I'm probably butchering his name, and I'm doing the accent way wrong, but I don't care. I'm trying, Luca. He said he emailed us on December 1st and said he just discovered our show, stumbled upon it on YouTube 10 days ago. And he says our podcast has become his one and only company. And he's going through a really rough time in life right now. But he said, he felt really lost, Eddie's departure. But the song Dance the Night Away literally saved his life. And he stumbled upon our show, and he's really enjoying it. He thought Destiny has brought him to the podcast. He says it's too bad he's discovering it as we're getting so close to the end, but he has all the other episodes to catch up to. Last time I heard from him, actually, he was on episode 22, which was a Van Halen 3 track.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he says, well, you guys really, it was Ballad or the Bullet. He says, gosh, you guys just can't cope with that album, do you? Yeah, you're right. Fair enough, Luca. Yeah, Mark especially, but
it is that album is, as you say, no bene.
But he loved the fact that we spun like 3 Women and Children first tracks in a row. Remember that kind of middle section where we got like 3 off of side 2 from Women and Children? That was so cool.
It was insane.
So he's kind of going through the episodes here with us, and I just wanted to shout him out. Lucas seems like a really, really cool guy. And I said, whenever you want to come chat Van Halen, like I might even just send him a link to our Discord. Just come on and chat some Van Halen. You got friends here. We're not in Italy, but Nashville, Saskatchewan, all of our great patrons that are in the Discord. We love talking Van Halen. We love to talk Van Halen with Lucas. So sorry to hear you're going through a rough time, buddy. But we're here for you. We're going to keep pumping out shows, and we're glad you're liking them. He says, he says, you and Mark are the nicest and funniest guys ever. Keep rocking. So I just wanted to say, give a special shout out to Lucas. Say thank you very much for checking out the show and for enjoying it. And we're really glad you did, and glad you're enjoying it.
Luca.
Grazie. Yeah. Take the gun, leave the cannoli.
Yes. Tell all of your friends in Italy about our show, and get them, all your Van Halen like-minded folks, get them over there. And hey, we get enough positive feedback from Italy. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll take the show abroad.
There's a good idea. Let's just hop on a flight and go to Italy.
Look,
are you paying?
Excuse to go to Italy? Yeah. Well,
man, we're gonna have to up the tiers on the old Patreon.
It's like we'll have to up the tiers a little bit. Yeah, but because times is odd. But that would be a show worth doing for sure. Live in Italy. How crazy would that be?
100%.
So fun.
I tell you what, and then the next email I got was from Good Pods, which is a great podcast player. Everybody, I do all my podcast listening on Good Pods. But currently, we're ranked number 3 in the top 100 indie music commentary monthly charts on Good Pods. We're also on the following charts: number 3 in the top 100 music commentary, period. Nice. Number 4 in the top 100 music commentary monthly chart. Number 4 in the top 100 indie music weekly chart. So we're like top 5 all over Good Pods. They're loving us on Good Pods. So, hey, if you're listening to the show, if you're a fan of the show, listen to us on Good Pods. Yeah, I kind of like being in the top 5. We're beating a ton of great podcasts right now. On that format. I know I always check out Good Pods. I listen to Pot of Thunder every week, the Sean Geek Fast Rap podcast. You're all doomed. I listen to all those shows on Good Pods, and hopefully everyone else will give them a track too. Chaz Charles says, Mark is obtuse on Van Halen 3. Yes, I said it.
What did you call me?
And then Jeff goes, only Van Halen 3, Chaz? Ooh. And then we got, he just sent a couple of emojis. Looks like a burping fish and a green SpongeBob. I don't know what that means, but there you go.
I don't think I'm obtuse on Van Halen 3 at all. I think I'm pretty clear that it is not my favorite Van Halen album. It's my least favorite. I don't enjoy discussing it because it has been very bad.
Can't wait for that live show. Cannot wait. We're going to do it at a time where Luca can join in from Italy. So I'm not sure what the time difference is.
Might be an early live show.
That's right. Yeah, wake up, get a cup of coffee, Luca, and join us for a live show. But before we do that, why don't we talk about our good friends at the Deep Dive Podcasting Network, including myself and Scott Haskin at Backtracks Aerosmith Revisited, myself and Kevin Brown at the Ultimate Catalog Clash. Season 1 is about to wrap up. We're getting ready to announce who is going to be Season 2. It's going to be a good one. Can't wait for that. Kevin Brown also does the Tom Petty Project and Seaside Pod Review with the one and only Cardinal of the Church of Go Fuck Yourself, Randy Woods. Scott Haskin also has Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. Then we have Nate and John at the Deep Purple Podcast, the Simple Man at Skinnerd Reconsidered, Terry T-Bone Mathley at T-Bone's Prime Cuts on the Other Side, Rye at Sabbath Bloody Podcast, Paul, Joe, and David at In the Lap of the Pods, Andy and Matt at Hawk Binge, Eric and Jonathan at Maiden A to Z, excuse me, I almost jumped ahead of myself there, Daniel and Josh at Diary of the Madman, the Ultimate Aussie Podcast, and they're making news this week because they actually had Jack Osborne on their show. And Jack went on the Osborne's podcast with Sharon and with Ozzy and talked about what a great experience he had on Diary of the Madman. So check that out. That is a tremendous show. Then we have Ben and Sam at Universally Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers podcast, George and Hattie at Judas Priest cast, Clay and Rye at North by South podcast, Greg and Jonathan at So Far, So Pod, So What, Quinn at Volume for All, Sav, Nick, Steve, and Mark at the Rock Roulette podcast, Chaz and Greg, who did Regarding Lulu, unfortunately. Then Chaz and Shats are doing Rush Rash. Kevin Brown's about to be a guest on that one. You don't want to miss that. And Chaz and Wolfie are breaking down Regarding Roger Waters. Some other podcasts you guys might want to check out include the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast, You're All Doomed, a Friday the 13th podcast, of course, our good friends at the DLR cast and the Bogus Doda show, Booked on Rock with the legendary Eric Senich, Dissect That Film, Three's Company 2, a rewatch podcast, and of course, the one and only Pod of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting.
Hell yeah, man. So good stuff. Thank you, Corey. And thank you all once again for joining us and spreading the love and cheer that is Van Halen. It's the holiday season. It's all about spreading love and cheer. Am I right? Well, if you're going to do it, at least do it on something that you're passionate about. And there's one thing we've learned doing this show is that people are passionate about some Van Halen. And so are we. That's why we do this show. And that's why we're going to keep going until we cannot do it anymore. We've still got quite a handful of shows, and then not to mention, as I said earlier, we got live shows to do to talk about full albums. So don't get too antsy about our end just yet. We've still got some time to go. So until that time, on behalf of Corey and myself and all of you rockers out there, thank you. We are, and the podcast will rock, and we will rock you later.